it seemed to me the trend in the East lately has really been to pick heroes that you know can all work together in a variety of situations, and then figure your lanes out later. Like once you go in, you can dual lane if you just want to have something disruptive to try to mess with the carry. If you can get away with a solo off lane that can actually get something, and you do that, and you just play ultra defensive and roam your support. So on both sides, really, I suspect it's going to be left up in a lot of ways to just what they expect to see out of the other side.
Yeah, it's a question of expectations, but also a question of what kind of information you can get out in the early game. If you happen to get a crucial scout on a team moving aggressively or setting up their lanes in a particular way, then that gives you good information to use and respond accordingly. And well, with Lifestealer picked, the one thing I will say for Lifestealer is that almost every team knows how to deal with it. We had that period of months and months and months of Lifestealer dominance. In the metagame, you know, I guess that's over a year ago now, but everybody still remembers and everybody still has their Lifestealer answers up their sleeve. Razor, Shadow Demon, Force Stabs, whatever you want. Teams are very ready to deal with this, and TongFu just going to go for the Razor, so was anticipating some kind of semi-carry to go along with the Ember Spirit, and the Razor definitely fulfills that. So it looks like it might actually be IG as the team with a little bit more of a clock on them this game, though you can't at all say that if this goes late they're going to lose by default. So it should be interesting.
Well, we're still waiting to see exactly what their last pick's going to be and the complexion of their lineup. I agree with you, though. The Rubik pick, it's actually going to be an Anti-Mage. That's fun. So, yeah, it's going to be June on the Anti-Mage, Luo on the Lifestealer. We'll have to wait and see who winds up on what. Kabu, no surprise, on the Witch Doctor. I've seen him do that a couple of times. Yeah, like the lanes, I feel like have a lot of flex to them. Like, do you try to isolate the Anti-Mage as a solo safe and then try to go aggressive, or do you anticipate aggression out of TongFu? Because I actually feel like Jakiro, Razor, Witch Doctor is a really strong lane to go aggressive against a hero like a Rubik, who really isn't valuable when he's under that kind of pressure. I mean, the Ogre with Fire Blast is good, but Razor's just going to completely nullify any kind of damage output Lifestealer has if they decide to get a little chesty about it. And that would, of course, free up the solo safe, which is what you were talking about with the Centaur, and they can run the Ember mid, or they can run the Centaur mid. I don't know. They definitely have options available to them on both sides. The Anti-Mage, though, is a very interesting pick to me.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit of a complete change in direction in terms of the plan. Safe laning him here, and Brewmaster will be heading up lane, interestingly enough, which is definitely a little bit unusual, I would say. Chinese teams do sometimes do it, though.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen it some in D2L play for sure. I've seen these basic heroes. I mean, the Anti-Mage is the only one, and to a certain extent the Rubik, though it is a Chuan Rubik, so it's not out of the pale at all. But like I think I've seen the top 20 heroes in D2L Eastern play running about every possible configuration you can imagine. Like, it has just been so much of the same, just swapped around. But it doesn't mean it hasn't had variety to it, again, because just the lane setups, the situations they anticipate have had some flex to them. It does look like TongFu wants to be going aggressive here, and this is what I thought they could do. U9 looks to be at the front of it. They're going to put Jin King on our Ember Spirit and Kyan down in the safe lane. I wonder if they're going to swap this up if and when they spot IG's running aggression.
Yeah, I think IG have gotten the better prediction here in how they're setting their lanes. The Lifestealer, once he realizes what's going on, if it's going to be an aggressive tri-lane top lane, should be able to play back and be all right. And I definitely think IG have kill potential on this Razor early on, especially given that he's gone for a no stats build, only 550 hit points. 2 armor to get through here, and might be able to. IG might even be able to pick up a first blood here if they get a little bit lucky. LPC is actually going top with U9, so just dual lanes for TongFu here, but this does look like it's going to mean that IG can get some okay farm on their cores to start. And Lifestealer is not even the priority core here, so the fact that he's getting dual laned against, I don't think is too much of a problem. I think he's actually going to be spending a lot of time this game just invested into the Brewmaster and running around and looking for kills and whatnot. So just some core farm for him would be nice.
And he's going to go and get his pull on. He is going to have a hard time in this lane. And let's see, are they going to send Kavu back up? Right now he's drifting towards mid. He's actually just going to run up and show his face, so just trying to disrupt the anti-mage and harass him out a little bit. And this Razor is going to be having a hard time for the foreseeable future. We can see June's being pursued all the way back under his own tier 1. But yeah, as of right now, Kian has 0 XP at all. None to speak of. None whatsoever. And Luo's actually going to get a couple of CS here.
Yeah, TongFu can pressure him, but they don't really have kill potential on him, unless he somehow gets Ice Pathed or Stomped. But the wind up on Ice Path is pretty obvious, and the same story for Hoof Stomp. So now that he has this rage up, I don't foresee him dying. But now that I've said that, Caster Curse comes into effect. So watch him be First Blood.
In mid, a lot of action. Chuan is rotated in. I know this is actually an interesting decision to me. To send Kabu mid instead of trying to go top and just completely zone out or sending him bottom in a 2-on-3. They send him mid, which forces Chuan to then rotate in, which in turn opens up a little bit of room for the Razor as well. We see it's a double damage picked up by Chuan, so this is fortuitous for him. Be able to maybe get an auto attack or two off for some harass. But yeah, because he was forced to rotate out now, Kian is already up to level 3. I mean, he's about 3/4 of a level behind, but he's now getting CS as well. So just by putting additional pressure here on this mid and making that more volatile, they're really helping out their bottom lane.
Yeah, they managed to draw Chizbug over as well with that little bit of pressure. So, like you said, definitely working out nicely there. Bit of burn damage on the Tron. Cask
oh, that's going to be a great cask. Oh, they made the biggest mistake you can make at this phase of the game against the Witch Doctor. And they're not going to get Jin King. Kabu's still there. Yeah, now they're going to turn it around. If he had Searing Change, Chizbug's dead. But he's alive. I thought for sure IG was at least going to get a return on something. Jin King was so low, and not going to be the case. They're going to send Chuan up the top. And already, like, this just feels very bad. The adaptation out of TongFu, just really solid.
Yeah, so now the Razor's going to do very well against Brewmaster 1v1. I mean, Ferrari has his CS already, but you can already see that the Razor is starting to get things going, and IG just settled back into, I don't know, kind of defensive lanes. Chizbug is wandering around on bottom lane and has his level 2 up right now, but I don't know, I feel it's a little bit unlikely that he's going to find a kill here, and yeah, Razor, suspecting that something is up, is going to poke his head around the corner and realize that the Ogre's there, so he's not going to put himself in harm's way. And yeah, lane's now actually going pretty well for TongFu. I thought the Rubik and the Ogre were going to be able to accomplish something in the early game and find some pressure or find some kills, but they've been really well dodged by TongFu at every turn.
The Anti-Mage in mid isn't doing bad, but he's not doing exceptionally well either. With the lanes being what they are right now, actually we're going to see Kian forced down, and this is something worth mentioning. Fire Blast from Chizbug without a Rubik there. If he gets in trouble, he can just TP away. There's nothing they can do until Brew hits 6, and even then, it's a question of whether he wants to spend a split on it. But if the lanes stay pretty much what they are right now, Cameron, what do you think is going to be the result? Which team do you think right now feels a more urgent sense of needing to break down the laning phase and get something else going elsewhere?
I feel like it's actually IG who are under a little bit more pressure, but Ferrari's got good farm and kind of just has the weight of the world on his shoulders here. He needs to get his Blink Dagger up and just needs to start chaining kills together as much as he possibly can to try and get some pressure, or try and alleviate some of the pressure that's on the Lifestealer and the Anti-Mage right now.
I'm a little surprised this top tier 1's in as good a shape as it is. Taking a look at Jakiro's build, I'm not sure what order he went, but he currently level 4 has 112, and that's very, very typical. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's not bad. The Liquid Fire could be wearing this tower out, but Chuan rotating up is making it a little harder to push. Just his presence is actually buying Luo a little bit of room, which is crazy important in and of itself. He's at 14 CS, so I mean, he's on even terms with the Razor. That's not that bad.
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier, the Lifestealer's farm, while it is important, you know, don't want to minimize that, I don't think he's as important as the Brewmaster or the Anti-Mage for the long-term progression in this game. So, it's looking okay. Chizbug? Yeah, they're not going to let you up the hill, my friends, but he's getting pincered as well.
Ice Path on the money. There's a cast, nothing for it to bounce off of. He knows he's dead to rights. He just wants to run in, ask Roshan for a little mercy. Not going to find it. Got right in front of the big guy. Then ended up dropping, so just bug, like you said. Trying to sneak up the hill and not happening. Up at top, looks like Luo took a fair amount of damage from something. Now a lift on the Jin Q. This will be a great kill if they can get it. Good cask again, though, from Kabu. And Chuan going to end up dead because of it. June banging away. There's a Fire Blast and a Mana Void. Is it enough? Can they catch up? No, they can't. So that's going to make it 3-0 now, favoring TongFu. Like you said, Ferrari having the weight on his shoulders, I believe, is very, very accurate. They're also going to need something out of their Anti-Mage. Do you think this is going to be a hard farming Anti-Mage, or does he maybe go hybrid build, get some early fighting items instead? Up at top, gank attempt, U9. Could be IG's first kill. Looks like he should be. Not yet level 6, didn't have Stampede. Does get a 3-man stomp, turns around, does damage to Chuan, but not quite enough. Down at bottom, there is a split from the Brewmaster. They're chasing LPC and catching him with the stone. Kian, though, the primary target, looks like he's going to be perfectly safe.
Yeah, Ferrari finds an opportunity, gets a kill, gets out, controlled the Razor the whole time, and gives him a slap for good measure, just to remind him of who's boss in this bottom lane.
He's using the fraternity paddle. That's what I always think of when I see that. You know, those very ornate paddles. He's like, yeah, let's beat that ass in a totally not weird, oddly sexually charged way at 18 years old, because that's what you do in fraternities.
Totally.
Exactly. Glad we're on the same page. It's 3-2. IG has found some kills, and taking a look, these are very important kills, actually. I'm a little shocked that things turned around that quickly. It was up to a 1,500 gold lead just about 2-3 minutes ago for TongFu, which, you know, certainly wasn't unassailable, but suddenly we're back to even.
Which doctor am I?
Yeah, Ferrari's just drawing a lot of fire, but it's not really impacting him all that much. I mean, we've got 3 TongFu heroes down here pressuring him, which is meaning that Luo is now getting better farm. On top lane, there isn't a dual lane being run mid against the anti-mage anymore, so he's grabbing some good CS. And yeah, somehow Ferrari has managed to taunt them all down here. I think it is fair that TongFu are the TongFu are pressuring him like this, because like we said, he needs to get the blink, he needs to be making plays to create space, but it's kind of working out anyway.
There's a stun on the Kian. Ferrari's behind him. Still 30 seconds from split. Here comes Luo, though. And if they get the Razors, this will be such a big kill. And yeah, they get him with the Infest. That is actually such a remarkably big deal. And because oh, wow. Chisbug actually dove deep. Now June's going to come in, chasing down Kabu. Kabu making it away with Stampede, but now June caught out under the tier 1 as Jin King showed up. Little greed there, and it cost IG desperately. And they're not done. Jin King, free kill on Chuan, gets the telekinesis off. Don't think it's going to matter. And now he actually is low on mana. Does have phase boost, Chuan on Browns. And there's help coming from behind. That's Luo. That's going to be enough to ward him away. So good desperation play from Chuan. Keeps him alive. And now they're going to sandwich LPC. Could be another kill. And Ferrari's actually going to spend his ulti. Turn around and attack a creep just cuz. And then secure the kill. Now we see Razor siphoning damage from that Fire Panda. I don't think he needed to split there at all. That's just waste.
Do they have anything left? There's no stun. There was no stun or no nuke left on the ogre, and I think Ferrari had already used clap. So I don't disagree with him going for that, especially given how close he is to his blink dagger here. Just picking up that extra kill is definitely very helpful. And TongFu aren't really in a position to punish him for using the split like that. I mean, they've got this Ember Spirit who... This is the one really big problem about picking Ember Spirit in general, but also having him on mid. If you have a hero like Shadow Fiend or Invoker or... Loa gets stunned mid, but I don't think he should die here. No, okay, he's good. But if you have anybody else aside from an Ember Spirit, then they can almost take the tier 1 tower while there's a bunch of heroes bottom lane, or, you know, the split's being used, but not really the case for an Ember.
Is the case for Jakiro, as we can see Liquid Fire really beginning to kick in. It's up to level 3. And I've been seeing a lot of players now go with this particular build on Jakiro. 2 points into Dual Breath. I love first point Dual Breath, but after that, personally, it's always struck me that maxing Ice Path and Liquid Fire made more sense. Why do you think the second point into Dual Breath?
It is pretty efficient damage. I mean, if you just want to scale up your nukes as much as possible, but I think I'm going to agree with you here that it's a really nice game for max Ice Path. There's a lot of heroes to control. There's 4 melee heroes. You know, if you're throwing out big 2-3 hero Ice Paths in every single fight, then that should hopefully be going your way. Pretty important smoke making its way top lane here from IG. If they can continue to slow down the Centaur Blink Dagger, that's going to be really big.
Problem is, a ward just expired. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, U9 knows they're there. He had a sentry down. And yeah, he just falls back easily. So, bit of wasted time there. Chuan needs level 6 badly. That's where, I mean, Chuan's in up. Hang on, in mid. Ferrari and Luo are there. There's going to be the Stampede. And Luo will wisely break off the pursuit. But yeah, the completely, oh, Chuan. Like, I'm sorry, I'm so tired. Chuan is such a good player, and there's so many good spells for him to steal. I mean, just Ice Path among them. As you said, it's a good game for it on both sides. So getting him to 6 should be a priority. They need to make him a little space. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're just giving him the sling. There's going to be a lift on the U9. And, oh, he actually didn't get the stomp off. And there's the Mana Void. Not enough. He's going to blink forward. And June trying to catch him. Gets him despite the salve in. And LPC not enough on his own. Now here comes the rest of IG. He's got a double damage. He's going to work. Chizbug turns around, gets a stun off on the Jin Q. He is relatively low mana. There's an Ice Path that goes out. LPC going to be brought down by yet another Brewmaster split. And Ferrari being very liberal with his usage of this. And I think I like it. Like, I had up, hang on, there's going to be a cask that was tossed out. There's a rock on the Kabu. And now the Storm aspect tossing the Ember into the air. Chizbug trying to make a run for it. U9 telekinesis and brought down and stunned down on Kien. Chuan turns around, throws out the Fade Bolt. They're both just going to make a run for it. He's going to sap a lot of damage. He's moving mighty quick. Did go Midas on that Razor. And they're going to get Chuan with the help of the Searing Chains. They give the kill to the Razor. In mid, we can see they are trying to turn this around and get something done, trying to push the tier 1. When all's said and done, fight recap not really accurate that time. When all's said and done, again, IG is actually coming out ahead in these fights when you go by the metrics, even though it seems like they are giving up a bit more than they would like.
Yeah, they're diving in really deep, but finding core pickoffs and losing supports in exchange, so yeah, things going well there. And I love the way that you phrased what happened with the Jakiro. Yet another primal split used for him. I think he's been the recipient of all 3 primal splits so far this game. And if you're LPC at this point, you're like, are you kidding me? Not again. But
that's why you just go to all chat. Why me? I'm a Jakiro. I'm a 4-position Jakiro with wards, wand, and tranks, man. Can you not chase the Razor once?
Yeah,
there's blink up on the Centaur, and we're beginning to see these items come out. How do you feel about the status of both sides right now? Who do you think is looking the best as we approach 15 minutes now?
Well, I think the fact that the Anti-Mage is finding his farm is looking really good for IG, and it's tough because this is a huge turning point for TongFu, and they're using it to its fullest. Jump in here, stomp on 2.
Beautiful stomp, and there's that burst potential we knew they had. Chizbug, nope. Not going home the way he wanted to go home. It's a double kill. Kabu's the one who made that happen. He had an invis, had eyes on everyone. And the beautiful stomp coming from their Centaur, U9. Again, very aggressive player by nature and style. And showing off why right there. That's, you know, these swings on the golden experience graph look kind of dramatic, but it's still a very close game. But that actually makes up. That actually gives them the largest lead they've had all game, erasing the largest lead IG had all game in the process.
Yeah, the odd thing about this game is we've still got plenty of heroes to wait for on both sides. IG is still definitely waiting for their anti-mage. He's got quite a bit of farming to do, and he's not looking to participate too much aside from jumping in and throwing the occasional mana void on a fight that's almost over. We've got this Midas on the Razor, which we haven't really talked about too much, but it looks like he's kind of resigning himself to a slightly longer game. And given that they've got their Blink Dagger up on their Centaur now, I think this is actually an alright decision. When I first saw it picked up, I thought, man, they might get overrun with an Ember Spirit and a Razor, neither of which who can really attend fights too heavily in the if IG are 5-manning in the early to mid game, but I think now looking at it, it should work out, and it gives them some more room to work with heading in towards the late game. Lifestealer is just not really going to be too much of a factor, I think, this game. He's got okay farm, but if you've got a farmed Razor and a reasonably farmed Centaur on the enemy team, you're just not getting anywhere. You're going to get linked, there's going to be 4 stabs, it's just going to be misery for a Lifestealer this game.
Well, just to borrow the phrase you used before, there really does continue to feel like Ferrari just has the weight of everything on him. There's a cask, it's going to get a few bounces, and they're trying to spread this out so Luo doesn't have to expend rage, and they do manage to do so. He was loaded in a Ferrari and he bounced out. Looked like he wanted to make something happen, but unable to do so. Jin King using his Flame Guard. There was a TPN. That's the Anti-Mage. And he's just like, he's playing so aggressive right now, just is not worried at all. And that's exactly why. He heads home back down lane using his Remnant. Here comes the rest of TongFu though, and IG, oh no. Didn't even get the split off. He was in the cast animation for it, but TongFu is now on the warpath as they're beginning to build quite a lead for themselves and look very, very good doing it.
Dire's bottom tower
is
under attack.
Lifesteal and Brewmaster, that unsuccessful gank cost them quite a bit. Now the Brewmaster's dead. And just pressure on the tier 2. Jun and Luo are going to do their best to try and take out some damage on this tier 1 mid. There isn't a glyph for TongFu, so they are going to send back the Centaur already. But tier 2 dropping pretty quickly on bottom lane. And let's see, what can IG do here?
Yep, 2-man stomp. Jun's going to be the target. He is able to blink away, and we're going to see Luo just rage and TP out. Best call they could have made. The Witch Doctor did end up dead at bottom, didn't even notice, was watching it mid, anticipating a play from the Centaur. But at least for now, IG holds the line okay.
Yeah, tower denied, pick up a kill, don't lose anybody mid, I think that's fine. Jin Q playing this, I think he's playing this Ember Spirit really nicely, lots of split push pressure, very similar to what we saw from him on the Storm Spirit, but he's getting IG to respond to what he's up to, and also it's a pretty good game for the Ember Spirit here. He can struggle a little bit against the Brewmaster if he gets hazed, and they can control him in fights in the sense that they can haze him and they can cyclone him, and there's a little bit of lockdown, but the problem is kind of killing him without using both the lift and the stomp. So he's split pushing, getting people to respond, and in the meantime his team is both getting good farm on the Razor and continuing to find these pickoffs. And Ember Spirit's actually getting very close to his Battle Fury, so timings are looking pretty good all over TongFu right now.
Battle Fury also looks to be the build on the Anti-Mage. He's picked up his Claymore and doesn't have quite enough for the Perseverance yet, so it does look like the Ember is getting there a bit quicker. And now we're going to have Chizbug spotted out. Ferrari's right behind him. They're going to blow him up easily. Ferrari comes in with the split. That's actually Chuan's Death Ward. He had stolen it previously. So they end up getting a return kill, and now Ferrari's on the chase. He's going to go ahead and lift the Razor. They really want to bring him down. Here comes Luo. U9 is there. They're going to catch him from behind with open wounds. And they have enough. Doesn't look like they do. They're going to re-engage, and Chuan turned around on badly. Luo still chasing down this Razor. He's now going to static link him. Has to separate. Rage up in 5 seconds. Luo needs to load into Ferrari right now. And nope, going to load into a creep. Come back out. Wants to go to town and does manage to get the Rage off. And he's going to get a return kill on U9. And now, Kian in a bad position. Ice Pass shot. Well shot at that. And that's going to be the end of Luo as a result. 13-9. Another long and drug out fight. That time, though, do believe it went in favor of TongFu.
Yeah, that was pretty nicely done, and just IG kind of overcommitting there. Let's face it, they really wanted those kills. They chased all the way over into the Radiant side of the map, gave the opportunity for some more TongFu heroes to respond, like we saw the Jakiro coming in. And that was also a split expended for a fight that they didn't really win. They did manage to get some more farm on the Anti-Mage, and Jun has his Battle Fury up now, so he can start getting some more split pushing done. LPC.
Got dual breath. Jun there to finish him off. Cask is thrown, and Mana Void secures the kill. Chizbug just flat spotted LPC in the jungle, got off a multicast, and chased him down. Kian going to come over and zone them out using the plasma field, but like you said, they are making space. Problem is they're not just making space for themselves. Jin King is completely uninterrupted in his farm. He is, he's actually right there with the Anti-Mage, a little bit ahead. But the fact that Anti-Mage is staying where he is, given how well the Ember's done thus far in this game, sitting at 4-0 compared to the 2-1 on the AM, I actually feel like AM's in decent shape here. We're going to see a 4-man smoke out of IG. And Kian's the target they want more than anything. Is he going to split? Nope. There's going to be a stampede with the multicast. Caught him from behind. Jin King and Kabu resetting with LPC. Let's see if they can catch him. He actually didn't have split. It was just now coming off cooldown. Still a very high value kill for these 4 heroes. And this is quickly devolving into 4 Protect 1 on both sides. Ferrari's going to take on a passenger. He's ready to split this time. Jin King, the only one up front. There's going to be the lift, and they're going to burst him. That's a ton of burst damage, and that is such a good return. That's going to force U9 to come back. And in anticipation of a potential engagement at their own tower. And looks like there won't be one, at least for now. The Anti-Mage out and farming in bottom lane. So they are doing a great job of space created. Ferrari's going to get a 2-man clap. There's the split. Kabu and LPC. Nice ice path from LPC. Problem is, the Lifestealer has rage. They're not going to catch Kabu somehow. LPC engaged and being chopped away on by Luo. U9 hits the stomp. No infest on the LS, so can't get himself out of trouble with a Chuan. Still got stomp, but he doesn't have the mana. He does have an urn charge, however. Will use it on himself. It's going to be a multicast ignite that actually got U9 and Kian. And old Shizbug brought his lucky dice to the casino tonight. He has been hitting some clutch multicasts.
That was the perfect multi right there. Slows them both down. Secures the retreat. Ferrari was so keen there, and I thought for a second that IG weren't actually going to make use of the split, but he was waiting on the cliff. He saw the supports back off and knew that they would consider going top lane, jumped straight in and set up a couple of easy kills for his team. And I mean, we talked about Ferrari having the weight of the world on his shoulders, but he's carrying it just fine. And I really like, oh, he gets jumped in mid.
And there's a stampede. Is it going to be enough? He's got, yeah, I was going to say wand charges. Nope, unable to make it away. So a nice return kill there for TongFu. We're all knotted up 14-14. And they are congregating in mid. Ready to run at this tier 2. With Brew down, why wouldn't you? It actually just turned in favor of IG again. And again, the largest lead of the game erased, this time going back in favor of IG by 1,000 gold. Experienced pretty heavily in IG's favor, but this is where the split push is now beginning to become an issue. Luo has even taken to doing it. He's got his Midas. He's got 2,800 gold on top. And here's Kian. Yep, just going to be a rage TP. Easy peasy. But the Anti-Mage is really beginning to come online a little bit as well now. His net worth is now not quite 2K, about 1,300 ahead of the Ember. And given he was down about 1,000 at one point, this is getting legit.
Yeah, Anti-Mage is getting up some really nice farm, another 2,500 on top of his Vlads. So I wonder what kind of build he's going to go for in this game. There's still definitely an opportunity to sit around and farm and get a Manta style and whatnot, but also a timely BKB into Basher or something like that could be very good for the AM. They do have a Lifestealer Midas working away at the same time, but there is a bit of an argument in the fact that Ferrari's going for an Aghanim Scepter instead of going towards more late game oriented items like picking up an AC or a Shiva is just more auras. So I don't know, maybe IG are trying to exploit that big spike in effectiveness as soon as Ferrari has that Ags up and try and go. And right as Ferrari's getting jumped, just to finish the thought about him going for this Aghanim Scepter, I feel like Ags is a really situational item on Brewmaster these days, just because it's not a straight upgrade to the Pandas. You only get the additional abilities, but I think just having Drunken Haze available in these fights to use against the Emperor is going to be huge once he gets it. But smoke on smoke action. Yep,
and there's going to be what a reaction on Chuan as he lifts U9. There's a stampede. Can they kite it out? Primal Split has been used. Chuan caught from behind, will be stopped and brought down. Luo in the meantime just being mauled to death. Here comes Ferrari back in. He's going to carry that weight again by himself. 2 down already on the side of IG. Takes Shakira out of the fight with a Storm aspect. He'll be reassembling soon though. And this is not gone well. IG despite the excellent reaction from Chuan, gives up 2, and now they're tier 3 being assaulted. June's going to have to come get involved in a fight. He's picked up a Yasha's going for a Manta. I agree with that, and I'll explain why soon enough. Are they just going to give up their tier 3? Yeah, they're not even going to bring the Anti-Mage back. They're just giving these racks up.
They don't have anything left to fight with no split. There's very little chance of them engaging in here. And everybody on TongFu is on full HP. Voodoo Restoration doing work. So yeah, I think this is 100% the right decision. They can't really do anything about those racks going down. And if they threw themselves in there, they could have just lost bottom racks along with it. And with that, probably the game. So they're going to have to cut their losses and try and grab a few more items on the anti-mage and hope that he can actually participate. If you looked at what June was doing in that fight, he was just kind of sitting up on the high ground, realizing, oh, I don't really want to jump into the Razor with ultimate active and then everything else. So he just kind of waited things out, and unfortunately that's all anti-mage can really do in these big 5-on-5 engagements, at least for the moment, especially with this kind of build, which is really split push heavy.
Looks like he's going for that Manta, and I actually dig it. There's a player on C-Deck that has played his butt off throughout all of D2L. His name's Maybe. And, hold that thought. He actually started doing something. They're going to chase down June. They got the Stampede. There's going to be the Cask and the Death Ward. And June hit with the Searing Chains. They're not even making it look like it's hard to lock him down. Like, usually, anti-mages, when they're doing as well, comparative to the rest of the heroes on the map, he just feels so slippery and elusive. And that's just not the case. Like, they are just making it look easy when they catch him.
Yeah, and AM dead for 40 seconds. TongFu actually has everybody here right on the doorstep of IG's base. So they gotta get ready to defend here. They don't even have Glyph either, so this is tough.
Ferrari does have split, and it'll be all reliant on that if they decide to push. Here we go. High ground ho. Chuan doesn't have a single spell stolen. He eats about 1/5 of his health bar from one side of this. That's the status of things. Jin King with a Yasha of his own. Battle Fury. And there's going to be an Ice Path. A nice stomp with the Ice Path. Chuan caught from behind. Super dead. Infest back out. They do manage to get a return kill on the Witch Dog. Let's see if they can turn this around. Kion has the static link onto Luo. Has his ultimate active as well. June can't do a whole lot. Stampede used by... Actually, yeah. But June is there to help turn this around. Kion going to try to TP away. And not going to make it. Fire Blast on the money from Chizbug. That's going to be a 4-for-1 exchange. They keep their bottom tier 3 and racks on. And that's a pretty big turnaround. They're going to go right to Roshan. Makes a ton of sense. You have an anti-mage within. Vlad's this early. Why not?
Yeah, definitely the right decision to go and grab this. And TongFu just dove so deep there. I think they were kind of reading the situation and thinking, wow, IG aren't defending. What are they nervous or something? Do we have the clear advantage in these team fights? So they dive in past the tier 3, get completely destroyed by the split. That time around, the Lifestealer actually manages to stick around and actually do some damage, which was really nice. And it's the difference between Razor having a fully charged static link and only having 80 damage stolen. If he's managed to drain the Lifestealer completely out, then you've got no Lifestealer and twice the Razor, but that time around wasn't able to do it, so... Yeah, IG now, despite a bit of a scare when they lost their mid-racks, things are shaping up again.
This has just been the tail of the tape so far for TongFu. And to be honest, if the pattern continues, I don't think they'll mind it, because they will hit critical mass at some point. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. Like, and it's been a step up every time. First time they started to go up, it was about 1,500. They give it back. IG takes the lead briefly. Then it goes all the way up to about 3,500. Then back to IG with the lead briefly. Back up to about 6,000, and now back almost down to 0. Not necessarily IG taking the lead, but we're at 30 minutes now, Cameron, and looking ahead at the current rate of item development and everything else, how do you feel about how these teams are going to stack up against each other, say around minute 40?
So minute 40, we're probably talking Aghanim Scepter and at the very least a plate mail, I would guess. on the Razor. U9's probably going to have his BKB up. Any other items? That's probably about the extent of it. Maybe one more item on... yeah, I guess definitely one more item on the Ember Spirit. That's going to be up against... I don't know what exactly Anti-Mage is gonna go for here. We'll have to see. Heart's definitely good. Butterfly is not too bad. BKB into Basher also fantastic. And the question becomes how do they start killing this Ember Spirit after a while? It's tough. I think a lot of it comes down to initiation. If U9 can continue to find these fantastic stomps and lock one of IG's big heroes out of the fight at the very start, then you give the edge to TongFu. But otherwise, I think things are looking alright for IG. TongFu do have a bit more of a buffer though. They've still got tier 2s. You know, they've still got potentially one team fight to lose before the map position goes back to even. But you know, if IG win a big fight, then they're going to take all those tier 2s and that'll be decimated. You know, that advantage will be completely gone.
Yule's used by Luo, or excuse me, not by Luo, by the Jakiro, played by LPC. He's getting help, and June's farming very aggressively. Here comes the Razor. That'll be enough to prompt the Anti-Mage to bail out. Thinking about what the Anti-Mage wants to go for, I think Basher Abyssal is going to be a necessity here. They're going to need a way to lock down Jinki. They're going to need a way to lock down the Razor. And we'll see if that ends up being it. I like Butterfly a lot, too. And here's going to be U9 engaging on a Ferrari. Ferrari has split. If they can... Nope, they're not going to get it. Is he going to get it off? Yep, sure is. Now he's going to turn back around and look for a return kill. One tossed into the air. Kabu left behind. There's a macro pyre from the Jakiro and very quick blink from U9. Let's see if they can catch him. There's another nice ice path. Caught him from behind. There's going to be the cast thrown as well. Chizbug still very tanky, and U9 caught by a fire blast. Chizbug will end up dying to Kian. And he's there to help clean things up. That's 2 down, including Ferrari. And Shin King trying to chase down June. June using the Manta to get out of the searing chains. Chuan tardy to the party, but goes home on time. June now making a run for it. Actually just kills the courier with 3,000 gold worth of something on it.
It was probably the Razor's Ags.
It's really unfortunate. This courier just randomly flying in. Yeah, it was the Axe plus the TP scroll. I don't know that it matters, though. With one set of racks down, this is going to be 2, 100%. And the tier 2 still standing at top, so it's not like they can just rotate and take that one. But I do believe this one is reaching its conclusion. June's actually caught by steering chains. Luo's moving around the outside. There's a blink ahead from LPC. Ice Path does manage to catch Ferrari. And Ferrari trying to do what he can, but he's dead. That's a dieback. And Kian sapping a lot of damage. He's gonna be able to kill off at least June, if not Luo. Chuan coming back into the fight. Hasn't stolen anything yet. June's gonna end up down. So A just popped. This ranged racks. Only thing standing here still yet. Chuan manages to get hoof stomped that time, but dying to the Razor ulti. Did use it to stun out Jin King. There's gonna be the Stampede. It's already back off cooldown. Static Link onto Luo, allowing him to sap a fair amount of damage. 112 he stole there. June comes back in, but he's caught by a stomp. Searing Chains will follow. He's going to Manta, and he actually does manage to get away. There's a multicast on Kabu that might end up killing him. Chizbug and Chuan still dancing around the outside of the fight, trying to find some way to be relevant. They do get the Witch Doctor on the way out, and they are going to get LPC as well. But I don't know that it matters too much. The damage is done. That's 2 sets of racks down now.
That was so unfortunate for IG that they couldn't get more out of. Well, the situation was really bad, of course, once the primal split was forced, and they tried to make what they could out of it. I mean, in IG, if you're in IG shoes, you're saying, look, we've still got our Aegis on our anti-mage. Brewmaster survived. He's controlling them down bottom lane. Everybody get there as fast as you can. We'll hopefully win that fight, but had that clutch blink away from U9, and things completely snowballed from there. So you asked me about 40 minutes, AC, but it looks like we might not even get there with the rate things are going. IG going for I don't know if it's fair to call it a desperation smoke at this point, but things are starting to get pretty dicey for them.
They're gonna have to kill him quick. And nope. No, they did get him. I thought he was gonna be able to remnant. Did he not have one down? If he didn't, that's a goofy death. Let me see.
He does have one over here.
Why didn't he remnant? There was plenty of time.
Yeah, he kind of... He definitely panicked a little bit. The thing is, you can't... If you use the Remnant return while you're inside of Fist, it'll show the animation of you disappearing towards the Remnant, but then you'll just come right back to where the Sleight of Fist started. So he had to get the Remnant ability, sub-ability off before he got lifted after the Sleight of Fist ended, but that instant cast point on Rubik is just so strong. So yeah, IG pick up that kill and keep their hopes alive, at least for now. They still got this tier 2 on top lane. They've got an AC up on their Lifestealer now, so that's definitely going to help, but they gotta start making some progress on taking down these tier 2s. And the Ember Spirit's going to be up before too long without any real progress made from IG, just farming up a couple of items here. They do finally have the rank 3 split on Ferrari, which they were notably lacking for the last couple of fights.
June did end up going BKB on this Anti-Mage. I'm mixed on it. Doesn't help against Static Link. Does help against other things, but right now, I mean, they have Death Ward. Death Ward doesn't completely nullify the need for a BKB, but certainly does make it less valuable as an item in general. And June's just going to continue to split push as much as he possibly can. Jin King gonna show up, but not before the blink away. And let's see, efficiency-wise. Again, it's like... It's the same thing. It's like an EKG. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. And they peaked a little higher this time, but it's already back down, cut more than in half. And they only have a 2,500 gold lead. And once again, the experience graph is actually in favor of IG. I mean, they're missing racks, but by the metrics, they should be in the lead.
I think it's just that the Lifestealer's farm is deceptive. One, he has a Midas, so yes, the attack speed is nice, but that's, you know, I don't think that's real net worth for him. And also, he's just getting kited in every single fight, so I don't think he's really getting 15k worth of impact. And now he gets jumped.
And has infest. Does manage to infest into a creep. He's got a team heading down this way. They have to be conscious of this. There's going to be, yep, Stampede, but a very quick reaction on the Yules. Ferrari did not get the split off. In the meantime, LPC going to die. And U9 tries to come in. Doesn't matter. As the split does go off and June's cleaning house. That's 2 down. And they've got him on the run. June going to work on the Kian. Here comes Jin King in the back. Wants to try to get some work done. Chuan stole a hoof stomp and does get it off. Now Jin King locked down. Is able to get out for the moment. Gets off some searing chains, but has to rim them away as U9 scurries to safety as well. Jin King not going to be spotted. It was so close. That's a big win for IG. Huge turn in terms of gold and experience. You're talking a 5k XP change and somewhere around a 3,200 gold change. I mean, it seems like TongFu just can't find it in them to close this game out.
Yeah, finding the pickoff on the Lifestealer is just so difficult. And as we saw, creep wave right there. I don't even think perfect chain stun would have gotten that kill. Oh, and Jin King.
Wow.
Blown up.
Just gone. Smeared is the word.
Radiant's bottom tower.
And suddenly IG's knocking on the door, man. That
no
Ember
buyback.
is down. No, no buyback.
Oh boy.
Here we go. Tier 3's LPC. Trying to buy time where he can. Razor back up in 4. IG should want to fight this, you would think. It's only 10 seconds until, give or take, until splits back up. That's going to be just about 30 seconds longer, or before the Ember gets back up. June's actually going to get caught from behind, and they do manage to bring him down. So they have the opportunity, but he stays a little too long. They're going to be able to catch the Ogre with the Yules. He's going to end up dead for free. Ferrari's going to come back in, hit a big clap and split. LPC's hurting. The mech goes up, but they've got Kion as well. And they over-pursue. This has been a ping-pong match. Just everyone swinging from the hip, trying to hit the winner. U9 does secure a triple kill. But behind that, IG was still getting the work done. Razor bought back. And we can see Luo is actually becoming very, very dangerous. And, ooh, stomp. Wondered if the rage was on time, but either way, buybacks expended there was on the Razor and no one else. Bruise is actually coming off, but at the end of it all, let's see. It's actually very, very close. It actually still favored IG. The XP actually favored TongFu, but the gold change favored IG.
Yeah, that would... And honestly, that should have gone so much better for IG that they got nothing out of their anti-mage. He just got chain stunned and didn't feel like he didn't want to pop his BKB defensively because that would have felt like a waste, but obviously he's kicking himself in hindsight and saying, man, I should have just popped the BKB and gone in, and we'd probably have that lane of racks at this stage. They got absolutely zero value out of him, but well, Ferrari and Lua picking up the slack. Roshan's back up, so they should be able to avoid too many stupid deaths for the anti-mage, and yeah, I don't know. Like you said, it's definitely a ping pong match right now. Who knows how this is gonna end? IG could get wiped out and TongFu could charge down mid and end the game, or you know, it could just as easily swing back the opposite direction.
This is a big Aegis, I think. Like, very big. What's June gonna buy? Anything? He's gonna blink out. I guess he can't really. He'd have to sell something to buy something at this point.
Don't fight up the hill. I think that's a bad idea.
Hey, at least they're dropping wards. Chizbug is left out on his lonesome. Are they gonna catch him? Looks like just now IG's realizing, we haven't seen them in a while. We should probably not be in the middle of nowhere. Sound like me whenever I'm playing with my friends. No, not up the hill. No,
not there. That's so they're doing the smart thing. They were hoping for some easy pickoffs just in case somebody on IG had, say 2 people on IG had TP'd out after Roshan and 3 people were retreating on foot, then potentially catching them with 5 is a huge swing, but IG were being pretty conservative with their retreat there, and nobody gets caught. And now TongFu just have to kind of hope that they can wait things out. They really don't want to fight against this Aegis if at all possible, but looks like IG are hoping to bring the fight to them. Anti-Mage is actually still all the way over at mid, so I don't know what June is up to.
I think he's just trying to draw attention. And they're still hanging here. They also have wards down. They had a couple, not one quite that far away. June leading. Are they going to catch somebody? Kabu's bringing up the rear here. Invis is going to be taken by June. He's certainly going to go use it to scout. If TongFu's dodging, they're doing a very good job of it. They tried to smoke and look for some kind of an easy pick, but like you said, just trying to avoid fighting 5-on-5 into that Aegis. There's a Shiva's up on the Centaur, which is a big item. And he's actually delayed his pipe as well. So the pipe's still not far, though. He gets a pipe up in a Shiva's, they're going to be in great position to try to crack high ground.
Yeah, the Shiva's is definitely a very big pickup. You know, as we've been saying, the big difference maker, I think, for a lot of these fights is whether or not there's a long duration static link, particularly on the lifestealer. I mean, even if he can get some good stolen damage off one of the pandas or something like that, then that definitely goes a long way to beefing up his impact in these fights. But well, Lua's finally getting things done. He's got a Basher up now as well, and the Ember Spirit is farmed, but he's just not really finding the space to get off a lot of Sleight of Fists in these fights. Also, I feel like Ferrari is doing a really good job of just hounding him. Either he's cycloned, or he's hazed, or well, now he's probably going to be hexed as Ferrari finishes that one up. So
really dig this pick on Ferrari as well. You've got the Vlads up on the Anti-Mage, the Assault Cuirass up on the Lifestealer. Those are 2 very high value items you'll very often see a Brewmaster prioritize above just about anything else, even the Scepter. As you mentioned, it's kind of become a more niche and situational pickup. So with them taking the pressure off of the Brewmaster, him being able to get up this Hex is actually a big deal. Because if they Hex the Ember, the Razor's not going to be that tough without the Ember around, and the Ember's not going to be that tough without the Razor around. So just getting one of those heroes out of a fight early makes such a big difference. But we're now getting into the cat and mouse games. I feel like IG should actually be a little more proactive in trying to spin this Aegis on something valuable. They're just allowing TongFu to dictate the pace of the game. I don't think that's going to work well for them.
Yeah, unfortunately they've got these 2 lanes of these 2 Rax lanes to deal with, so the Anti-Mage kind of has to be off dealing with that a lot of the time, and it makes it difficult for IG to get out past the river. So the groundwork that TongFu laid earlier is now kind of saving their butt as we head towards the late game, and IG try to make use of this Aegis. They've only got about a minute remaining, so it looks like they're not actually going to get any value out of it, unless this smoke comes up big, but I doubt TongFu are going to be anywhere close to the dire side of the base, dire side of the map when they see absolutely nobody, particularly defending middle lane in the next 10 seconds or so.
Courier's got a demon edge on it, and we'll deliver it. There's the Daedalus done. That crick stick dough up on the Ember Spirit, and yeah, they swoop through the map and find absolutely no one.
Yeah, it just gets more and more suspicious. Mid lane pushes in, top lane gets pushed in by the Ember Spirit illusions, and they realize, well, look, they were off smoking somewhere. Everybody on TongFu even just retreats into the trees, making it very, very unlikely that they get spotted. So, IG back to the drawing board, but they're gonna have to deal with these lanes, and after then, I don't know what they've still got plenty of space to farm up items. I mean, there's still space for an Abyssal Blade. On the Anti-Mage, he could potentially not be the one carrying the Vlads as we go later, so multiple item slots for him. Ferrari can definitely still scale up, but looks like TongFu deciding that this might be their window to make something happen. They know that the Aegis has just faded, but they're still afraid that they have no idea where IG are at the moment, so just gonna play it safe with the illusion split push and take out the tier 2.
Oh, they're just hanging back, and really no way for IG to try to contend with that tier 2. And their path in the late game is getting harder and harder and harder. The Lifestealer caught up. He and Anti-Mage are actually two most farmed heroes on the map. But Razor is still an adequate answer. And I like where the Ember is right now. Manta, Battle Fury, Daedalus. Going to be hitting for a ridiculous amount of damage. Kien's even got 3,600 gold for himself. Ferrari, once again, takes on a passenger. They got to make something happen. Like you said, it's very difficult with the lanes being pushed like they are, but they're just going to have to try to find some way to commit to a fight, an engagement, a tower push, something. Because the longer this game goes, the Anti-Mage is going to get a bit more farm, but I actually feel like the Ember is the one. That's a big pickup. The Abyssal and the Lifestealer. This is when they really need to try to fight.
Yeah, they are so hungry for a pick off right now. They're placing whatever wards they can to try and see what the Ember Spirit is up to. And here we go.
And they're going to jump right on the Kabu. There's a Stampede, though. Did not get the open wounds off. Yeah, he did, actually. And now Kabu just being chewed. Holy crap. Just chewed him. And that's going to be a gem picked up by Ferrari. Not the most valuable kill in all Dota history, but certainly one they'll take.
Yeah, Anti-Mage jumps in aggressively on mid lane, but won't be able to do too much to the Razor. This Ghost Scepter pickup is a little bit weird. I understand it in the sense that, you know, there's a BKB Anti-Mage and a Rage Lifestealer charging you in these fights, and you can't necessarily always get off a good link, but I feel like it's kind of wasted itemization as we go a little bit later. Still needs to tank up, maybe consider something like a Refresher Orb. I think the big thing for TongFu right now is, you know, they're only 1 or 2 kills away from just completely ending the game. LPC with the attempt to TP out. Ferrari not fast enough on the Hex. Won't be able to get him.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It seemed like he should have had vision of him for a while. He's very fortunate. He and Luo both had a way to disable him. The Abyssal and the Hex. But the map spread right now is solid from TongFu. IG trying to make something out of it. And they're still actually sitting on the lead, and it's shrinking a bit, but now getting a bit bigger again. And I don't know. Let's talk ultra late game. I mean, we're at 50 minutes, so we're not talking. We're super far from that. As the game goes later, with a Scepter on Ferrari, and as big as the Lifestealer's getting, and as big as the Anti-Mage can get, I think now we're in that weird window where I still think TongFu's in good shape. But if they don't close the game out soon, I actually think IG is going to have at least a window of opportunity for themselves where they're just going to be so hard to deal with.
Yeah, the big thing for IG is that they're trying to build up as much of a safety net as they possibly can. They still want to get a bunch of items and, you know, finish out their inventories, but they also need to have buyback at all times, because if they make a single mistake at this stage without buyback on him, you know, on a couple of important heroes, then TongFu just charge straight down mid or bottom lane and just completely end it. So not only are they having difficulty dealing with the 2 lanes that have been racks, but it also means that they have to be a bit more conservative with their gold and a bit more conservative with their lead. So even if they're up 5k net worth, 10k net worth.
That's the one they wanted. They waited for him forever. For absolute ever.
And they even put the anti-mage bot just to make it more convincing that nobody was top lane. But
now they're waiting for the return. Ferrari might get eyes on him. They do. They know U9's there. He's going to have to BKB. And here comes the Lifestealer going to work. Gets the bash. The ice path on the back, not bad. But now June going to be hit with a static link. Ferrari's right there. Has split if he needs it and will. And going now to work on Kien. Ember Spirit did use his buyback. He's come back into this fight. LPC's going to end up dropping, and now it's just Kabu. He has to abandon the ulti, and June's on top of him. And they also got Jin King. He's going to come down and be able to rim it away, but he is now sans 3 teammates, and they're not done. They caught him with the rock. The Hicks got him. Do they have the damage? They do. This is a dieback. Are you kidding me? IG, after an excellent patient gank at top, managed to take a 4-for-1. It was a buyback on Chuan, but they are in so much trouble. Ember doesn't have buyback, and they're hitting sufficiently hard. They could take this Rax and go for the throne, man.
I don't even know if you go for the Rax. I think you just take the tier 3 and then go tier 4s.
Yeah, exactly.
Go.
They can just go for the throne. The Ember died back. Oh, what a disaster! What an unmitigated, cataclysmic, biblical level disaster! TongFu loses in one fell swoop, and IG will win this series 2-0 as they advance through our bubble race. TongFu's path reaches its end, but IG, theirs is just beginning. The first step of what they hope will be many. 3 to be accurate, I guess technically a few, as they now look